So we're discussing really now in astrological terms with Jupiter and Saturn a phenomenon which I would call an event timeline sociological. I mean, you know that the term event sociological is from the movie Encounter of the Third Kind. And I've studied and shown you in my book, in Light Seeds, star rune language. The source of language is really extraterrestrial, probably Pleiades. And we see the writings again reappear in some forms, in runes, Nordic runes of course, but also in Sumerian language. A very important optical disc of the Wingmakers was only cracked open because the scientists knew the old extinct language. And we see it also of course in the Egyptian and in the Mayan scriptures or symbols and glyphs, because they both, as I explained, refer to the ancestors from the Pleiades, and they have the language of course and the glyphs. So we're looking at all of this, and in this context with Sagittarius and Scorpio and Capricorn occupied, we're going into an impersonal time of disclosures. And those of you who follow our work, I'm sure some of you have followed Dr. Jerome Corsi, who is analyzing a source that is giving very advanced and accurate information about what's going on in the world and what possibly may transpire. This source is known to those who follow it as QAnon. Q is the 17th letter, and if you put it in the Nordic alphabet, it's the arrow up tier. And Q has given, probably it's a group of people, a lot of very interesting background information, which I would call parapolitical. I'm not going to talk about world affairs. I'm staying in the technological transfer contact with the ETs. And inside of a music disc that the people who decode Q, they found inside of the script an additional file packed in, which they were able to open, that opened up on 17 pages, 17 again, and it was written in Nordic rune language, pretty much. And that Nordic rune language had the number 137 highlighted many times. Long and short is the message was transcribed and summed up in English as what I would call an ET contact, and the message says that they were here for billions of years, they have seeded billions of cultures and civilizations, and mankind is one of them. And in that script that they were able to decode and find, they said, we prepared you for thousands of years for this meeting, which is about mathematics and truth. That of course will be again Jupiter in Sagittarius. They then said, we sent you messengers and all your knowledge is ours. Mankind's thought is what we gave you. You learn in interaction with us. Then we make a jump to a fourth kind of contact. So I told you we have written contact, telepathic contact, visual and hardware contact. There's also contact from the future, where there is a group of mankind from the future, 750 years ahead, in the 28th century they said. And you know the story, they created this ancient arrow site in New Mexico, which was found in Chaco Canyon. In there, by the way, the NSA then immediately stormed in there and took everything over. They found optical discs, artifacts, the linguistics, the art itself. And they, inside of that cell that's described by Dr. Anderson, went in contact with this source knowledge, and they went through memory acceleration programs and created all sorts of compartmentalized, non-disclosed departments inside of the NSA, and which were really for the purpose of developing time travel. Which brings us now to the big subject, which this is all about. This is, the ET contact is one thing, but what do they actually teach us in the future? And the contact we have and others have is the same story. They say this isn't about going to go from here to there into space. It's that we're going to have to learn first the language, have a sort of unified mankind language with them, and then learn time travel and the technologies involved in that. And with that knowledge, mathematical, scientific knowledge of time travel, will we then be able to do the next civilizational jump, maybe in 200 years from now, realistically. And they say really we have three civilizational levels of ETs. We have scientific groups and we have spiritual groups. And the two of them together created what they term third, artistic group. And the wingmakers say they came on this planet because they estimate that mankind is actually at that third level of artistic beings, which will combine scientific and spiritual knowing. Okay?